one of the things that I started with my grandson, I learned it as a school concept, but I do it at home. It's think, wonder, notice, right? Like, why do you think this is going on? I wonder why this is happening. I noticed this. What do you see?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Polaris Connection, your podcast that connects parents of autistic children with industry experts and proven results. I am your host, Brad Broyles, and I'm here with my STEM full friend, co-host
Did you
Nathan
just call
Palmer.
me STEMful? All right, now we're really thinking outside the box, which is what our topic today is about. It's STEM, right?
Yes, and it is all about thinking outside the box. We are here with the amazing Beth Garcia. Thank you for being here. She is the STEM teacher at Polaris Academy.
Hi, it's nice to be here. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Get through this.
You know what? That's our mascot is the bear, so we bear with everything. We bear like nobody's
We
business.
bear outside the box like nobody's business. So
Good.
today is all about thinking different, unique strategies. Beth, thank you for being here. How did you get to Polaris Academy? Tell us a little bit more about your background.
Okay, I'll start with my background and then I'll tell you how I got there. So I've been a teacher in Mesa for about 11 years, but really for almost 15 because I started at a preschool level in New Hampshire, and so it's been a while. And in Arizona, I was a special educator. I started in high school at Westwood, and then I ended up on the east side at Jefferson, and Jefferson had started a STEM program, and at the same time, Los Sundas was starting their STEM program. I think it was like maybe an initiative. And Aaron, our principal now, he was part of that big like startup. And
It was kind of a passion project of his, right? I mean, he was like Mr. STEM from
He
what
is
I remember.
Mr. STEM, yeah.
he's kind of a guru. Like if whatever he does is usually against the grain or different in some way. And I was really interested, and I was at a location at my school where I could start STEM in my special ed classes and like my reading. And I was also co-teaching, so I was able to work with this sixth grade cool teamy model and do STEM with them. So
Hang on, you said sixth grade. What model was that?
it's the co-teaching model.
Co-teaching model. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Very
co-teaching teaming. So
Yeah.
I could go in and do. I pretty much worked with that team of teachers in their classroom throughout the year, which also really kind of turned me on to like full inclusion, or in a sense, like where all kids are capable. Like I've always thought that all kids are capable. They're just kids. All kids are kids. So that's a whole other blue. But
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so, Beth, you haven't been here in some of the other episodes, but that theme is one that just keeps coming up. Like we've had there is no such thing as a bad kid, and all kids are capable, and they all have these unique. And what I love about, I guess, what the podcast has done is we've introduced so many ways to find those unique ways to find the strengths, and STEM is just another avenue to reach kids in a way that's fun.
And I love it's called the Talent Discovery Center, and this is the way that they can discover their unique talents, and then they can grow and develop it. So keep going. So,
yeah, and I just think like when I was within that teamy model and just seeing all kids work together, I think all kids have abilities. Like it's just where their strength is, right? It's like, yesterday I was having dinner with my mother, and I said, I was talking about our kids at Polaris, and I was like, man, if these kids could have always shown what they know versus like writing an essay, like they would have all been super successful everywhere, right? Like they amaze me every day. And anyway,
I love that. Show what you know.
Just
Like
show-
if they can just show us more of what they know.
show us what you know, because they got it. Maybe they didn't like write the paper, but they understood what they learned. So anyway, I'm in this other school. It has the STEM program, and Aaron's picking up our kids on this like short bus to go to his STEM expos. Like now he's driving the bus to bring kids to his school.
All right, hang on. Aaron was the bus driver.
Yeah.
Brad, we have a new job title.
Yes,
He's
we
now
do.
going to be our STEM driver.
We have a field trip driver, so I mean Aaron can get a bus. But
That's good.
anyway, so
Again, for everybody, that's Mr. K, the guy with the crazy shirts all the time.
yeah, so I kind of took an interest in Aaron's programs, and like I said, we were pairing up a lot with Las Sendas, and then I moved on, and I heard Aaron's retiring, and he's going to this other school, and I was like, what? He's gonna leave? So then that principal was friendly with Aaron, and she was kind of telling us like what he was doing, and this new school, this cool school opening up, and so you guys got a Facebook page first, and before you opened, and I started following your Facebook page and kind of stalking. And then you guys had teachers right away. It was awesome to watch you grow. And so I kind of just did that for about 5 months, and I was like, I better get on this bus quickly, because I kind of heard...
On the STEM bus,
yeah,
right?
yeah, get on the Polaris train. So I messaged Aaron.
The Polaris Express.
The Polaris Express, yeah, because
yes, we got some swag like that.
I kind of, I did stalk you guys. I had to message him through like the parent, do you have any questions messenger? And I was like, hey, I'm familiar with you. Like, can I come in? Can I check out your program? And he was like, yeah, come on in. And I got to go observe Taylor. And then from there, I visited a couple more times, and thankfully this position opened up, and here I am.
Here you are.
Well, we're grateful to have you. Now, you mentioned something that from New Hampshire. Are you from New Hampshire?
I grew up on the East Coast, yeah, I'm from New Hampshire.
What town and what brought you over to Arizona?
Okay, yeah, I grew up in Epsom. It's a town that's 4 miles wide, 6 miles long. We only had to dial like the last 4 digits of our phone number to call each other when I was growing up. Then I went in the Army, so I was in the Army, and I met my husband, and we got married after like 3 weeks, and we been married 30 years this year.
Because was there like a deployment there? Like, hey, we're going to get deployed. Let's get married now. So
No, that was just some 19-year-olds making good decisions.
Oh,
and
I love it.
Yeah, that's what happened. So then we got out, and we ended up on the West Coast, so we're here.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
There's something to be said about following your gut, just following it and trusting your instinct. And I hear a lot of stories like people that make these, what would seem like a quick decision, but they turn into these lifelong things. And so we're just glad you trusted your intuition enough to come to us, and that you're part of this wonderful world we now call STEM.
That we love. And well, and before we dive into STEM, then I'm curious. So you're in the Army, and so what were you doing in the Army?
I was a signal support specialist, so it was actually very STEMmy. I was putting, now that I look back, I didn't make this connection before. I was putting together radio systems, installing them in Humvees and trucks, putting up antennas, running cable. We learned, that's when Microsoft came out with that, like LAN, networks. So we learned those things with computers, and yeah.
I'm seeing ham radio in our future.
I think we need to do that. I love that stuff. Can we do that next semester? Okay, next year.
Yeah. We like to pivot fast in this business, but it's because there's so many ways to be creative. Now, I think everybody knows, but for those that maybe are new to this idea, the autism world is already full of acronyms. Special needs in general is full of acronyms. There's ABA and RBT and ADA. I mean, it's a whole word salad. One of my son's favorite jokes is, "Hey, I went to the doctor and I don't know what an HD is, but I've got 80 of them." Right, so for those that, just for the benefit of our listening group, what is STEM? What's the acronym?
Let's start at the beginning.
So STEM is science, technology, and engineering and math. But there's also STEAM, which includes art. So
and is that different than STEM, or is that just saying it's more inclusive of the broader STEM message?
Well, the arts, gosh, that's such a big question. I've heard it 2 ways. Some people refer to it as incorporating the language arts. I never personally had looked at it that way. I can understand it because you can connect STEM projects to literature and all of those things. But the arts, like as far as art, the planning of STEM, I think, has a lot to do with art, like the drawing of diagrams, schematics, or even being creative and thinking outside the box. That's the arts, right? Like how do you express yourself through art? I I don't
Gotcha.
know.
So it's both
Makes sense.
expressive as well as kind of like the visual spatial.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've always, this is just a personal thing, and maybe it's just me. And so for those that love the acronyms, power to you. But I remember when we were talking about the STEM Center, my only hesitation was in the autism world, there's this thing called stimming. And it's not just unique to autism. We actually all do it. We all have the thing we do to kind of regulate ourselves. And I'm like, I don't want the STEM, room. And then STEAM, I'm like, well, we all have those days where we let off some steam. And I'm like, what's the reframe? And you said something earlier, and like my brain is zeroing in on this because it's the same letters. You called it co-teaming or teams. Teaming. It's the same letters. I kind of want to just call it not our STEM room or our STEAM room, but our teams room, right? Because really it's about building teams and collectively working on these projects and these growth opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, right, because no one actually works in a vacuum. And that's kind of what when I was thinking about today, you have to collaborate at some point, right? Like none of us have all the answers all the time. And even if your answer is right, there could be like a room for perfection or make it a little better. And my job, you guys at Polaris, is so easy because I have access to all these teachers and the OT and our PE coach Beth. Like we all work together on these ideas of what we're doing week to week, and even collaborating with the teachers. Like some of these projects, I'd rather go to the teachers and be like, what are you going to do? Because if I can build background in my room and have them work together and like know more when you're teaching them that concept, yeah, I think that would be cool.
So what you're saying, Nathan, STEM, what STEM? So STEMming equals teaming.
Listen, we can throw these letters around in a lot of ways, right? We're not gonna. What I think I like is just the branding of it. And listen, we like to brand stuff on this show, but I'm really considering not just calling it the STEM Center. Like I know that's the certification, but I really think it's teams. Yeah. It's teams driven because that's the underlying message that we're saying. And Beth, so what you're talking about, that collaboration between teachers where it extends outside your room and into the entire campus, that is the reason we're actually able to get this dual accreditation that we might talk about today, I hope.
We're going to talk about that because that's something very unique, the way I understand, Beth, with Polaris Academy, is that we do build our STEM or teams
listen, let's just switch it. It's not a STEM center. This is our teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've now officially heard the new direction of Polaris Academy. We are now doing teams.
Beth, so thank you. If you contribute nothing else, you've rebranded and named our system. I really think teams is the model.
Yeah, I think that's a good model, and you can go with it. I think that throughout your growth too, it's going to be important for all the campuses to know that we are one team and we're not, even though we're in different places, we're all same goal, same direction, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Inclusion is the message. We're not operating in isolation. This is about coming together.
Well, and tell us a little bit about the programs so far at Polaris Academy that you've been doing with STEM. Like what has been your focus so far this year, and what are some projects that you guys are working on right now?
Okay, so right now, I've teamed up with the ninth, our high school teacher, and they're learning like land and rock formations. So they're actually doing, they're making crystals. Yesterday they made Tuesday they made a diamond out of marshmallows compared to graphite out of marshmallows, and we're learning how those things are made in the rocks, and they're going to start growing crystals next week. So they're doing that whole project, but they also taught me something. They broke open. I had brought in all these rocks, and they were like, "Oh, that's a geode." We went outside, and they showed me that you can see through a geode. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can put a flashlight up and see through them, and it's cool. They light up inside. So then we went outside, and they smashed it open, and there were all these crystals. It was so cool. It was so fun. It was great. It was a fun day. So anyway, they're doing that, and then the first graders were focused on learning about turkeys right now, and they made these awesome little turkey houses yesterday. They're those guys. I'm calling it rip off the Band-Aid phase, where don't come in my room at the end of the day. It's pretty messy.
No, listen. So
but
just so you know, Beth, I do tours typically at the end of the day, and my favorite. So I've had teachers like, "Don't come into my classroom; it's a mess." Those are my favorite rooms to go in. And the reason is because I can tell them we're busy here. We do things. And seeing the remnants of like, wow, what happened in this space? Like, let me tell you what happens in this space. And it's just like, it's not just some sterile environment, right? And so I'd rather see the fruits of your labor, however messy it is, because it means we're engaged.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad because that makes me happy, because it is going to be kind of messy. And that's been a big thing for me, you guys, because I'm a little OCD. I've had to let that go a little bit, and like, it's okay. No, and with the program, I'm trying to make it more grade level relevant to even for the future campuses, like sort of not a pacing guide, but like, so their kids aren't learning the same thing year after year. Like they can learn something different, and we have a direction kind of to go. So like, and then the Miss Galvan's class actually picked theirs. The kids wanted to learn about, they wanted to do egg drops because they never did egg drops.
That's awesome.
And but the teacher in me is like, how do I tie that in? And like, we put some Newton's laws in there, and we're learning about drag and surface, all those good things, kinetic energy, potential energy. So we're working on that. And then who else am I doing? And then
again, I'm going to stop
much.
you just for a second, because that's I think that's the magic of your space, right? We can do this fun thing of egg drop, but instantly you go to, hang on, how do I insert Newtonian principles and physics and friction and energy? And I think that's the magic. It's looking for the opportunities in the nuance, and I love your approach to it.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, each grade level is doing a little different. Some of their kids wanted to know about like build cars and rockets, so that's what we're doing, and it's not perfect. Like, I'm learning with them, and I actually think I took this from Brad, but it's like fail forward. Like, that's my big thing with them. I'm like, it didn't work. Sometimes I think something's going to be perfect, and it's not a good idea. Our kids like perfection, right? A lot of them are very like everything has to be perfect. The tires on our cars weren't straight, our toothpicks weren't holding them. So like we had a hard time with that. So I found some foam circles, and they're better. So today we're redesigning.
Well,
Awesome.
and that's what I love about with STEM teams is that it's okay to fail, and to teach these kids like, okay, maybe it's not right now, but let's keep to work. Like let's change it a little bit. Let's play with it a little bit, and how do we make it perfect? So I love that fail forward.
And it touches on a I guess a position I'd call it resiliency, and that goes beyond just a physical project. The tie-in, I think, of our team's approach is that failure is necessary to get to where we're going. And when we look at emotional dysregulation and other areas where they break down, the lesson is moving through that gets you to where you want to be. So that resiliency piece is so key.
Well, and that's a good piece for everybody, right? It's okay to fail. In fact, failure means progress. I am moving forward. I like that. I heard a saying a long time ago that I really love. If you do something right, double down on it. If you do something wrong, you're just learning.
Yeah. Right? And I, in preparing for this, I was thinking, well, why am greater purpose? What's my why? Why am I there? And I wrote resilience down so many times, and self-advocacy. And, I was like, what am I most proud of right now? Or what, and I had to talk to my RBT that works with me, and she's wonderful. And I was like, I'm having a hard time thinking about this. And she's like, we make kids do really hard things. And, day one, these kids had to overcome I was a stranger. They're not, I'm unfamiliar, I'm a little different than Miss Taylor. So, you have to write a little bit, not a lot, a little bit. And we're going to learn a little bit. And that's not easy for them. And it's just, they're coming in smiling now. And like, that to me is a huge step. They're not so resistant. It's not so unpreferred, and they're comfortable. Like, I was so happy yesterday. I told my turkey house makers, like, you probably
turkey house.
They're pretty cool. I was watching some of the production.
You probably aren't finishing this today. No tears. You can take them home. It's okay. We can put it in bag. Like, it's all right, because they want to finish everything. They want it to be great, and it's okay when it's not, and I love it. I'm having fun now.
Well, how do you, encourage creativity and curiosity with these students?
Oh, that.
Or do they just bring it out themselves?
Some of them bring it out. Okay, so in we'll call it our team room, right? The program, we want them to think of their designs. We want them to plan it. And so to encourage it. So normally, was a mind shift for me. I wouldn't show them a lot of examples, or I would give them all the information, maybe give them the materials that they could accomplish those things with. But there is a balance, right? Because some of our kids visually, they can't picture something. So I had to start showing some examples, which I hope inspires the creativity. And at first I was afraid they would always make it like the picture, but they're not. So I think for me, I have to give them a starting point now. But then they grow so much. They change it so much. They do things that I wouldn't think of. So I literally have to stop talking while I'm explaining it, because I end up confusing them. And, once they get a visual, I think they can go, and they are so creative, and they make it their own, and they own it, and it's theirs, and it's unique. And that's what's cool. I mean,
I love that approach. So when I think it was the ABCs of Parenting, Brad, we had an episode where we were talking about autonomy and this idea that oftentimes as parents, what we pursue is compliance, right? We just want them to do what we want them to do. But our goal is, at least what we tell ourselves is, but I want them to be their own person one day. So here, I want you to think for yourself, but do it the way I tell you to do it. And those ideas conflict. And education can be sometimes a rigid environment. And so, Beth, I applaud you taking this initiative to teach autonomy and to give room for independence and artistic resilience. That, I think, is why they've enjoyed the experience so much.
Yeah, and they do better. Like, again, they make a better project than I could have made their example, and it's so it's just I had to change my mindset of, like, giving them a starting point wasn't a negative. It's okay. And yeah, it works out. They're creative.
Well, so now let's shift gears just real quick.
Hang on, before we shift, I have a question that I'm kind of just dying to ask. What has been your favorite what's been your favorite teams project to date?
Oh gosh. Okay.
That's a good sign there's been so many.
I know there's a lot of thought.
I know the rock wasn't a project, but it was a learning, and it was cool when they broke open that.
The geode?
Geode, yeah. I also, there's so many. Okay. I loved the digestive system. I know they hated doing it. But no, they liked the project. They hated, like, all the stuff up to it, I think. But
I remember that one. It's still sitting in our home. My son brought his home, and I have to laugh about that every time, because we did. So if you don't know this, we did a virtual fly through on our website, so people can take like a virtual tour of the space. Everything was cleaned up and nice. There was one thing left on the board in the stem, and it's the digestive system. And there is
and that wasn't supposed to be
It's right there. You can zoom and see it. It's forever etched in the history of our school. So I'm glad you picked that project, because it is memorialized in history. So
I totally forgot about that.
That's
that is
funny. I thought I took all of it down.
Because we spent like all day the day before to clean everything out, so nothing was up, so everything was clean.
I think it was meant to be. Fast forward weeks later, we get to this podcast. What's your favorite? And there it is.
That's
so
See, even when we try to make it perfect, it still doesn't work. Sometimes,
and it's not meant to be.
They know what it is, guys.
I love it. I love it.
But no,
sorry.
no.
I didn't mean to redirect Brad, but
no, but that's awesome.
They did a really good job. I mean, I don't know. I think it was on our Facebook page. We put the dinosaur, the student that made like that.
Yeah.
Really, who would have thought of that? That was awesome. I got to say though, the RBTs are kudos to them, because they help the kids out a lot getting it all together. But no, I really like that. I've had so many fun projects. I feel like even like the kinders we made, the kindergartners we did, or the first grade. I always call them kinders because they look so little. They made marshmallow like slime. Okay, and talk about accomplishments like sensory. They didn't like sticky stuff. They didn't like cutting. They didn't like so many things when they first started with, and that was just August, right? So they're making the slime, and they don't realize how that it's sticky because it's marshmallow. But we're adding some cornstarch, so it kind of takes it out. But when they started pulling it apart, and even though it started getting stickier and stickier, it took them a minute, and they were like, "Oh, it's sticking to me." But they were enthralled.
They were engaged first.
Yeah. And I was like, they wouldn't have even touched it like in August. They would have opted out, So I don't know. I can't answer favorites. Like they all do such cool.
If I'm hearing you right, your favorite isn't so much the activity; it's the process, right? It's that guiding them into the unknown, letting them know it's okay, step by step, and discovering. Which is why we called it the Discovery Center, right? Discovering these areas of life that they haven't yet experienced. I love it.
No, we need. Yeah, I always want to put like a huge, like a brand or something. Discovery Center.
I think that's good too.
Over Teams.
So
well, it's already called the STEM Discovery Center.
Yeah,
we're just going to call it the Teams Discovery Center.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. See, folks, you get to hear all this wonderful brain power and all of our thought process and imaginations. That's why I love STEM so much. Is that you can imagine, you can play, you can build and create and think outside the box.
There was this. I'm sorry. One more thing. This was a favorite too. So after school, you guys bought us this little kid-friendly table saw. So we have like a builders kind of club, and we're making puppet heads, right? And one of the students, and she was like such a perfectionist in the beginning of the year, and she gets her puppet head done, and it has this like horrible underbite on it. And so we were cracking up because she's going to make it look crazy and just like a character, but it's hysterical. I got to give a picture and put it on Facebook because it's great. But for her to laugh about how the mouth didn't line up perfectly and like we could make fun of. First I said, "Is it buck teeth?" And she's like, "No, that's an underbite." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool, but it's fun." Now they're having fun and like they're embracing like it's okay. Like we cannot have a perfect product. It's all right.
That's awesome. I wish. We're going to have to record these podcasts with a video because I love seeing your face, Beth, of the joy that it brings you to create with these kids. Like it is awesome to be around you. Your energy is contagious. Thank you for what you do.
And on that, Brad, honestly, a shout out to all of our staff that work for us in all their many capacities. There are a lot of unique ideas that make Polaris, but the truth is, it's the people executing that make the magic. I mean, you guys really are the Polaris Express. You are what make the ride what it is. And seriously, I can't thank you guys enough for bringing this to life and making it something that we never even thought could be possible. This has been wonderful.
We really wanted to bring thinkers into the program and to have these thinkers come and build, and just think unique things. Like we didn't care about what other organizations were doing. We wanted to create something special, unique, and then keep building on that concept. And Beth, you're a big part of that. All of our staff that's there at Polaris, it's great energy. If anybody hasn't taken the tour yet, please come down to Polaris Academy. We'd love to kind of show you the energy.
It's a cool environment. And I'm like, again, to circle back to Coach Beth and even Sarah, our OT, like the other day, Coach Beth ran in the room and she was like, where were we? They were building bridges. So I had triangles as like, the strongest shape. We're going to put that in our bridge. And she was like, "Did you see what happened with the men's gymnastics team that was here?" She said, "Did you notice how they made all their bases when they did they did like a three, I want to say it was a pyramid in gymnastics, but they were like
a human pyramid?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Look at their legs, they're all triangles and they all have intersections." They were all the same words that we were using for bridges. So she sent me pictures of them and I was able to connect it, right? But our kids need those connections. So and for any of us, again, working in isolation isn't a good thing for our kids. Like we have to connect. We have to make it a universal talk throughout, like what they're learning, and help them with that engagement, so they can have that knowledge and that background knowledge and relate it to other things.
Love it.
Well, so I wanted to switch gears real fast. And, a lot of our parents, they're like, that's awesome. We do this at Polaris Academy. It's great that you have an environment that does it. I mean, we have teachers, staff that they spend countless hours. I can't even imagine all the hours you spent, Beth, trying to come up with different concepts, plans. You do a wonderful job. But what about at home? Like a lot of parents are like, okay, how can I bring what you guys do at Polaris? How can I bring that at home? And we can do this at night, over the weekend, or different activities. What are some ideas you have for our families?
You guys kind of talked about being parents and empowering. You want your kids to do something, you want it perfect. Don't let it be perfect. I'd say ask them why it didn't work. Like, ask them how it could be better. Everything they do. I think from helping, like if they help you make a pancake and it doesn't turn over right. Like, why do you think that happened? Do you think if we used a spatula with a bigger surface area, do you think it stuck to the pan? Like, was it too hot? Like simple things. Making eggs, right? They're whipping an egg. Like, give them a spoon and have them try to beat an egg. Give them a fork and have them try to beat an egg. Like, start talking about airflow. There's so many things you can do. I take apart things that something breaks, try to fix it. I just think that we don't, and families are busy. I had kids, we're busy. Like, just talking about why something is why. And one of the things that I started with my grandson, I learned it as a school concept, but I do it at home. It's think, wonder, notice, right? Like, why do you think this is going on? I wonder why this is happening. I noticed this. What do you see? And I think those conversations are so super valuable. I actually want to pop in a little geekiness here. So I love to learn. I had to actually cut myself off from learning in my life because it was costing money. But we always have background noise going on, like TVs, radios, things in the background. And kids don't know anymore how to navigate what information is meaningful and what information is not. And so a lot of times we're seeing kids that can't, differentiate. Like, what am I listening to? How is it important? And I think cutting out that background noise and having a conversation with your kid is so much more important than any time you can spend. You could do a project with them. Or you could just talk about things and how things are.
You're talking about even just preparing the environment for the thing. So, and it's, you're right. We so often, naturally we can go, yeah, I can tune that stuff out. It makes me think of the movie Spider-Man, right? Why do you wear these restrictive goggles? Because it, dials my senses in, or, takes it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just being intentional about the space. I love that. And, I'm having this thought, Brad, the more I hear Beth talk about these home STEM ideas and these creative ways, who would have thought about airflow and friction and beating eggs with a spoon or a fork?
I would have been.
So I'm like, maybe there's a Teams Discovery Center home edition in our future, right? Just to give a resource for play at home.
Redirecting all of Polaris Academy.
We were when we were making something with them. I can't remember, but the mixing of the bowls, kids don't understand the momentum they're creating when they're stirring something, and then the bowl would start spinning, and then they don't know that they had to hold the bowl and stir. So we were noticing bowls flying off the table. So we were like, what's happening? It's really simple.
Glad it happens in our room first before it happens in your home kitchen. But
I get it.
I love it. Well, listen,
Sure
I think we're going to have you
towels.
on our next parent training, which we do. I could ask questions about this part all day long because we all want to know, how do we engage more with our kids? How do we empower them the right way? How do we explore and discover their talents and their creativity? So I love it.
Well, I like your think, wonder, notice. That's a wonderful process. I like to write things down. I like to process it a little bit and then how I can implement it. So, and then also you also mentioned something about, if something breaks, have them kind of discover why did it break and, how to fix it. What at home can you do that so it doesn't shock them too much? Is there a little
break, something about something that's broke?
Well, I guess I think about, and this is 15 years.
Dealing with an unexpected outcome, really, is what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. You know, like, because I guess where I'm going is that a lot of parents just want to fix things right away. That if something's broken, I want to jump in and I want to fix it.
Yeah, I think don't, right? And then, well, I'm trying to think of what kids play with. I feel like it's so much technology now. So I'm not, you can't take apart an iPad, but maybe like, now tell me if I'm going on the right path. Like if, my car broke, my like Matchbox car, could you just have them look at it and fix, like, why did it break? Did the wheel fall off, or how did, or are you talking about, like, I don't know, like.
No, I always think about like a radio's broken. Let's take it apart. Let's put it back together.
Think,
that was kind of more of our
I think
era.
that's just like take it apart, put it together. We have an ice maker at school. I want to take apart with them right now because I don't think it's broken. I think we need to clean it and take it apart. But
you know what though?
Like, I just think, I don't know.
So I'm sitting over here, right, and I get to be the parent, right? That I guess that's my unofficial role in the podcast is I've got a kid on the spectrum, and so I'm super grateful he's got a place to go to do this. But at the end of the day, he comes home and we have family life, and this theme I keep hearing from you, Beth, is let go of perfection.
Yeah.
Let go of the expectation, and we all have it, whether it's special needs kids or just comparing our family to the next. And in a growing virtual world, it is so easy to go, why am I not like this? How come my family is not like that? And let go of the expectation of perfection. Enjoy the beauty of creation in the imperfection.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I mean, even you said you're a little OCD, you had to let go, but it sounds like in the letting go is where you finally found fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Like, and don't fix it for them. Like, I think talk through why is it, like, I just, like, what happened?
Yeah, just kind of explain, go over through the process. So, like, you talked about making waffles or pancakes, mixing eggs with a fork. What are some other kind of home remedies, like, STEM projects that our families can do? Because sometimes I feel like there's a misconception like, hey, let's throw up a video about STEM, or let's watch about STEM versus like, no, let's do it.
Well, let's remember STEM, and even if it's team at our school, it's about problem solving. Like, there's some other cool like things you could do with patterns at home. Like I have this, and I know of course, because I'm a teacher, but like there's these sheets you can buy, and like it gives symbols. Like it'll be like a Twitter sign, a Facebook sign, and whatever, Instagram, and it's a math problem, and it says equals 20. What are all those symbols? How could they have gotten to 20? Or there's a lot of things too with STEM that are just fun competitions that you can do if you have. I would say you need more than one kid, but you have to like hold pens up between your fingers and you're telling them it's like a game. They don't even realize, but it's a problem solving game. So anything where you can kind of solve a problem and figure it out together. You can make a lot of things games in your house. Kids also symmetry. Like you could tell them, here's a drawing of a Christmas tree, and like you want them to put Legos on half of it and see if they can match it like to the other half. There's a lot of just simple things you can do.
I love it. This idea of games is just so much more fun, right? And because what you're doing is you're putting a positive spin on what we would otherwise call a problem.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I love the messaging. We want our kids to be problem solvers, but that means they first have to have problems, and that's okay.
Right.
And use that opportunity to approach it in a fun, engaging way.
Especially in like and I love AI. I use it every day, but I think like, are we going to have a generation of people who can't problem solve because chat, And I, again, love the program, but you got to think it through first, right?
Well, and I heard that a while ago. Like, AI is wonderful. Mm-hmm. We all embrace it, but it does take away the process of thinking and creating from problem A to this is the solution. And it's the process. It's figuring out that problem that really makes it special. That's the human experience. And AI, in a way, does take that away. So you want to use it, but then please don't forget the process of problem solving from part 1 to part 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can geek out on this like forever, because it's like even when you're writing an AI prompt, you have to know how to write it.
Right.
You have to,
You still have to give it the right input to get the correct output.
Right.
And I love you keep going back to, I want to geek out on this because it just reaffirms we got the right teams teacher, right? And it's the right motive. We're looking for creative ways to approach problem solving.
Yeah. Well, and as we wrap up, Beth, where's our Teams Discovery Center going next? Where's that going for Polaris Academy? What do you see in the future? What are some future projects that you're working on?
So moving forward, I think like I've been talking with our director, Heidi, and I know they're, the upper grade levels. So in my planning, I try to think on where should they be in high school, junior high, and what do I need to do to get the younger kids ready to get up there? I know that, I think we're going to start some trade school stuff and like really getting the kids into feeling confident and having a skill or something that they've gained through our teams program, that when they get to junior high, high school, that they know like I'm good at this. I think I should go try this as far as like job skill ready. And for me right now, that's pretty much what I'm thinking about when I'm making my plans, is just how to get these kids ready and prepared for their next challenge or problem they'll have in the next grade level. And then building something as we grow, when we bring in other team members to be on our team's team, that they can follow. Because the great thing about Polaris is you guys give us so much autonomy as well, but it can also feel like you could drown in that because you don't have. So I'm trying to just make a path for those people who come in, like, this worked, this didn't work. What are your ideas on it? Like, how could it be better? Because I like the directions that I was given, which you guys wanted, like some nutrition, understanding of the body, things like that. And I think that's very important, as well as like keeping those parts in it. So yeah, I guess
you're trailblazing.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, it's great. And that's, again, to you, Beth, this first team of our teams has been, we're building a path for people to follow. You're building a model to teach our kids how to approach their future, how to be okay with problems, because they're equipped with the tools to solve them. And they're excited about discovering the unknown versus being apprehensive about what they don't yet understand. I love your messaging. I love the motive. I love the direction. And again, kudos to you for attacking it and jumping in head first.
Absolutely. So any final thoughts you have for our parents?
Keep asking questions. I think that ask them questions to create that discovery mindset and like the growth mindset, like fail forward. Like, it's okay. It didn't work out. We'll figure it out, Mm-hmm. I think that's all you can do.
Well,
really.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for being with us, Beth. I know we're going to have you back again because we didn't even talk about the nutrition side yet. And that's a whole different conversation.
Well, right. Like, our school has like some vision and like things that are important too. So
mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is a big part of our program, and it's a big part of what you do. So
if we could capture the wholeness of what is teams, right, in one episode, there's no way. But I'm glad we've at least scratched the surface, and I cannot wait for the continued deeper dive as we go forward.
It's going to be awesome to see what teams becomes over the next year. Like, we're going to look back, we're going to re-listen to this podcast, and we're like, wow, that's where it started. Now look what it is today. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's fun. Thank you.
Anyways, thank you everyone for making us part of your day. Please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation that inspires connection. I want to say thank you to our producer, Jesse Palmer, and our marketing director, Dallin Davis. Until next time, let's go and do some good.